Hey guys, in this video we're going to be checking out this little guy here. It's the TransTEC Aurora 90, another micro drone. I think 2-inch props here. Let's say this is the box it came in, and we get two sets of props. I think these are 5-bladed, probably 2-inch props. It looks like they're unbranded. I'm not sure who makes them. You get a battery strap, 2 Velcro battery straps, and some Velcro for a battery that it does not come with. There's no battery in here. And you get Allen wrench and some screws for the props. So it looks like you're gonna have to get your own battery and receiver for this model. This looks like a plug and play. There's no receiver that I see in here, but you got an all-in-one FPV camera, CMOS. I think this is a version of the Turbo Wing camera that I reviewed a while back. Got an Omnibus F3 20x20 and a 4-in-1 ESC, and you've got some 1104 7500 kV motors. Got some aluminum side plates here, so that's kind of interesting. Now this bottom plate here looks awfully thin. I'm going to measure that. Yeah, it comes in at about 1 millimeter, so that's really skinny. And there's going to be quite a bit of flex in this arm, but there is no holes or anything in the arm, so at least it's not going to just snap. I think if there was a cutout here, if they happened to put a cutout here like they did on the Aurora 100, this arm would just snap. But you can see it's kind of floppy, but maybe they did that to reduce the weight. I'm just going to see how much this weighs as it is right now. So I'm guessing I think this weighs about 50 grams. Okay, so I was a little bit off. It's about 45 grams. So yeah, it is a skinnier plate, but it does weigh a little bit less. Yeah, we're going to see how this flies, because typically when it's floppy like this, it doesn't fly so well, but it is pretty lightweight, so we'll have to see how that does. So actually I'm going to go into the computer and I'll take a look at what this looks like in Betaflight. I have no idea what's on here. It's probably Betaflight 3.1 or some version of 3.1, probably 3.17. And we'll see how it's configured. We'll have to add a receiver to this. I'll probably add one of my micro FlySky receivers, probably the RX2A Pro. And probably use a really skinny battery, like a 350 milliamp hour battery, and probably keep the weight down and see how this flies. So let's go to the computer and see how this is set up. Probably try and fly it as much stock as possible. Okay, so this has Betaflight 3.17 with the Omnibus F3 flight controller. No surprise there. No receiver setup here. Okay, it's One Shot 125. I believe these are Bielheli SECs, 10 amp 4-in-1, so should be able to run D-Shot, but I'm going to double check that in the specs. There was no instructions or documentation that came with the quad in the box. I'm going to leave all of this stock here. I'm going to change this to serial and iBus later. And I'm going to turn off black box, turn on air mode, turn off SD card. I believe it has an OC, so I'll leave that on. And I always change my VBAT settings here, because battery sag will prevent the beeper from beeping too soon. Although this model doesn't have a beeper. And change my failsafe to hold on throttle. And these look like default PIDs. I'm going to change my super rate to 7.5. I'll save. And leave the defaults for receiver. There's no modes in here, so I'm going to add one mode for switch arming on auxiliary 1. And under OSD, I turn off everything except for fly time and main battery voltage. And I believe it's an NTSC camera. Looks good. Save. Okay, so that ought to do it. Pretty much I'm going to fly it stock, so we'll see how this does. Okay, a little addendum here. I was trying to figure out how to get a receiver hooked up to this flight controller, and it turns out this flight controller is a little bit different. You got your video in, video out of the side here, and the receiver connection is over here, and it's on a little plug, and I believe this is UART3. If you want to use UART1 or 2, you can solder directly to these pads. So you can see there's T1, R1, T2, R2, but I'm not sure where the power would come from for the 5 volts other than this plug here. So you get positive and ground there. So I'm going to be using this FlySky receiver, micro receiver. It's a FSRX2A Pro. It's one of the smallest ones. And I have this 3-pin connector here that I soldered directly here to the iBus pin for signal, and this is the correct plug size for this connector here. So I'm just going to plug that in, stick the receiver inside there, and I should be good to go. Okay, so I basically just popped the top off here. There's 4 screws that hold the 2 side bars, the aluminum side bars here, that hold the camera, and then I just plugged in my receiver right there. And that's pretty much it. It's gonna use some sticky foam and stick the receiver on top here, close it up, screw it back down, and put the props on. Gonna be putting some rubber bands here for my battery holder instead of the Velcro like I usually do, and we'll go ahead and fly it. Okay, it's quite windy right now, so we'll see how this little guy does in this crazy wind. Fly is pretty nice. Whew, a little too close that time. Whoa. Can't let the thing too far away, it's too small. Almost lost orientation and crashed there. Can go pretty fast if you pitch it forward a lot. Alright, let's see what kind of acro abilities this thing has. Wow, it flips quick. Gotta get it closer. It's got decent power. I mean, it's got 1104 motors. I think these are 1.9 inch props. Alright, let's try a little punch out test here. Oh yeah, not bad. Come on back. Alright, I'm gonna feel the motor, see how hot they are. Tune sounds okay. I don't hear any oscillations or fluttering. So I think its out of the box settings are alright. Let's just check the motor temps. Oh yeah, they're not even warm. Well, they're a little warm, but yeah, not hot. So I think tune's pretty good. Go ahead and we'll FPV this now.